The oil market is collapsing right now on news that the United States just struck a long-term deal with Iran. In this video, we're going to talk about what's actually going on here because this wouldn't be the first time we have heard about a deal with Iran. Because there's actually a more important thing to understand here. So in this video, we're going to break down that as well as talk about something critical happening in the cryptocurrency market right now. Guys, I believe we are seeing a generational bottom opportunity in this video. I want to talk about exactly what that is. Make sure to stick around for this whole thing. Like always, you support me so much for this channel. Thank you to everyone who likes and subscribes. That said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start off this video and talk about exactly what we are seeing in the Middle East. Guys, I said in my video yesterday that, look, no matter what we're going to see in terms of an escalatory event, the truth is there's only one incentive here, and that is to end the conflict. Well, take a look at this. What we're seeing is Trump has now canceled these scheduled strikes in Iran and is now saying that his team has landed a deal with Iran that should be announced any minute. Now, look, this would not be the first time we have heard of a deal with Iran. We've heard this almost every single week, only to not get an deal with Iran. Now, the truth is here is I do think there is going to be a deal because the United States has a blockade that's just completely destroying Iran's economy, destroying their currency. And Iran really can't do much about it. They just don't have enough military power to. So I do think a deal is going to have to get done here because the player who really could make a deal not happen would be the United States. But the truth is the markets absolutely have Trump by the you-know-what. Trump has to make a deal because the oil market is forcing him into making a deal. The stock market is forcing him to make a deal. And the oil market thinks the deal has to get done. That's why we're at $78 oil right now. We are up to 120 at the peak of this. The oil market is essentially saying there's no choice here. A deal fundamentally has to happen. And that's the good news here. Because the truth is the uncertainty that this conflict has caused us is only negative for markets moving forward. So there's so many negative headlines. There's so many people buying into a massive oil spike and inflation coming back. I even see people talking about the United States government's raising rates. Guys, I don't think any of that's going to happen. I think there's a bunch of fear in the market, a bunch of uncertainty. The bears are coming out because it's starting to look like a dip. But the truth is I don't think that we are actually going to have this spiral into anything more than it already has. Look, we have seen this movie before. We saw it with tariffs. We saw it with Venezuela. And now we're watching it again with Iran. I believe that oil has already peaked. It's coming down. And likely we are going to get a negotiation underway with Iran. I'm not saying it's going to be a good negotiation. I'm not saying it's going to be better than we were before. Who knows? Maybe it is. It doesn't matter. There is no incentive to keep this war going. There's no incentive to keep oil high. Oil is already coming down. That's going to take inflation down, and that's going to mean that the Federal Reserve can cut rates. Look, guys, completely outside of all of the different political pieces of this, out of all the different strategic oil prices and all these different things that people talk about, the truth is the one thing that matters for us cryptocurrency investors is that rates go down. And it's impossible for me to see a world where we're not moving towards that eventuality. Yes, we were delayed because of a lot of this stuff, but the truth is it's really nothing I'm overall concerned about. Truth is Trump clearly is trying to pivot away from this to make it so inflation does not have a lasting impact. And therefore, we're going to keep rolling with the punches, but I have a feeling we're probably pretty close to the other side of this. And today is just another example of that news. Guys, I wanted to talk about something super interesting that I see taking place all over the market. And that is crypto personas in other assets just absolutely throwing their hands up and giving up. Guys, this is one of the things I talk about a lot on the channel, but I'm just going to do a little bit of a rant here because I think it's so important. Guys, the truth is the vast majority of people in crypto don't understand crypto. All morning, I was going around and listening to different crypto shows, listening to the high-profile people in the market, and every single person is just throwing up their hands and giving up. They're all saying that this industry failed, that Trump is a failed crypto president, that Paul Adkins is worse than Gary Gensler. Like, people are at the point where they're just saying nonsensical stuff because the market is going down. People's emotions have been completely taken over by line go down. And look, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's fun to watch asset prices depreciate. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is like bullish, right? That I like seeing assets going down, right? Like I want to see assets go up like everyone else. But it's so important to understand that asset prices going down doesn't make this industry any less legitimate. Just like Tesla's stock price crashing before it went up thousands of percent didn't signal what was going to come next. Just like Nvidia going down because Ethereum moved to proof of stake rather than proof of work didn't mean that the AI revolution wasn't going to completely change the world. Guess what? This conflict in Iran, this lack of the passing of the clarity bill, whatever the fundamental news you want to attribute to price go down right now, it has nothing to do with the long-term viability of cryptocurrency. Let me tell you what should cause you to panic and an actual reason to sell crypto. One would be if a better technology comes out. Guess what? We haven't seen one. What else would cause you to panic? If for whatever reason, the fundamental architecture of something like the XRP ledger failed, like the XRP ledger was not working, like it went down, it crashed. It's only gotten stronger. What else would be? Well, maybe the United States just says, you know what? We're going to call these things all securities and we're going to regulate them out of existence. The opposite is happening. What if we were never going to get clarity? They're working on clarity. The Treasury, the CFTC, the SEC, the OCC, every single regulator is pro-crypto. They're all talking about how important this technology is. And at that same exact moment, people within industry, right? The Solana, the Ethereum, all these people who were hardcore crypto people, all of that is making them bearish because the line is going down in a negative direction. Look, it's not an easy position to take right now because you look like an idiot in the short term saying, okay, well, you know what? Things are going to get better. But guys, this is what max bearishness, this is what max pain feels like. And whether we get it in the next week, the next couple of days, the next month, look, the truth is you have to keep your eyes on the fundamentals because that's how people make money. People don't make money by buying the line that's going up. People don't make money by moving to where the ball already is. You have to move to where the ball is headed. And there's two ways to do that, right? You can either be someone who makes short-term trades and gets in and out of markets and catches some momentum, or you can be a long-term believer in an asset. I'll tell you this right now. Warren Buffett didn't become one of the richest people on earth from trading, and neither did anyone else in the top 10 richest people in the world. Not the top 100, probably not even the top 500. Those people were all long-term investors, and they believed in a vision that no one else believed in. Guys, the truth is right now in the cryptocurrency market, if you don't have a vision that you believe in, you're just going to get washed out. And we're at the stage right now where almost everyone is washed out. I have seen it with my own eyes. The vast majority of people are gone. And the truth is, guys, as unfortunate as that is for a lot of people, the people who come out on the other side of this are going to be in a better position than ever. So guys, let me just say right now, I do believe that this is probably the worst we are going to see it. And maybe we get one last shock and awe event, one last thing to take out the last couple people. But guys, if you have made it to this point right now, if you're still holding your crypto, let me tell you right now, as someone who's been in 3 to 4 of these cycles, as someone who's been through multiple dips, this is just what it feels like, right? And to experience the highs, to experience what's on the other side of this, you need to make it through times like this. This is simply just a test. To understand that at the end of the day, we're all here to go from point A to point B, right? And it doesn't matter if you get there with a couple 1,000% moves up and a couple 80% moves down. If at the end of the day, over the investment time horizon, over the maturity of the investment, price goes to where you think it's going to go. But the people who are overly emotional on the moves in between, the people who get shaken out by the ups and downs, those are the people who are not going to last. Guys, let me just say right now, this part's a little bit of a conspiracy, but the truth is there are probably people in the background, if this asset class is important as we all think it is, who have an incentive to shake people out. This asset class is as important as we think it is. There's probably people who don't want you to make it to the end. There's a lot of big financial institutions talking about how this asset class is the future. And guess what? A lot of you beat them in. So we'll see what ends up happening here. Because the truth is there's only two eventualities. There's the eventuality that we are absolutely right here, and the market is going to reappreciate and realize that. The truth is I've seen that multiple times. So that's what I'm doubling down on. That's why I'm not panicked, because I've seen these things play out before. There's the other eventuality that crypto just doesn't work out, that this technology has just failed. Guys, if there was fundamentals we could point to that stated that, we would be talking about that on this channel. If new technology XYZ was taking over, we would say, hey, this is a problem for the crypto industry, and we'd be breaking down how crypto technology compares X, Y, and Z. But that's not happening. So the fundamentals are overwhelmingly pointing to the positive direction. Price isn't following that. You just have to put your line in the sand. Are you going to react to price in the short term, or are you going to react to long-term fundamentals? The truth is I think the vast majority of people want to be here for the long-term fundamentals. So focus on that and realize that if whatever price is today is not reflecting that, what is the long-term price where you realize that those fundamentals are intact? For me, it's exponentially higher than where we are now. So I treat times like this as an opportunity to double down on my thesis and say, at the end of the day, I'm going to be right. And anyone trading based on a line and not based on news is ultimately going to be giving me the right to profit off their missed opportunity. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. For now, Mikkel out.